Imagine this. You decide to go to the gym because you want to look better. You want to get more muscular. You want to get leaner. You start making some progress. You start doing really well. You start gaining a bit of muscle, liking the way that you look. You're turning some heads, feeling good about yourself. You can see the muscle that you're gaining in the mirror. But you want to take your training to the next level, right? You want to look even better. So what do? You start taking creatine. You start supplementing creatine. You instantly feel this like increase in uptake of water into your muscles. You feel fuller, you feel bigger, you feel stronger. Things are going great. And then bam, next thing you know, you're woken up and you're bald. All of your hair is gone. The follicles have ejected the hairs and you're looking like some jacked, freaky Johnny Sins that's going to get absolutely no female attention whatsoever. And the entire purpose of this journey that you set out on to get laid, because that's obviously why we all lift, the entire purpose is a waste. Okay, this might not happen, all right? You might not end up looking like this, looking like me. Does creatine actually cause male pattern baldness? And there's a lot of conflicting stuff online. You'll get the experts saying, no, ultimately it doesn't. There shouldn't be a problem. Big guys on YouTube like Jeff Nippard, Andrew Huberman, but it doesn't really make sense when in all the comment sections of these videos, there are thousands of people saying that creatine makes them lose their hair, anecdotally. I used to take creatine, and then I stopped taking creatine because of all the stuff that I read online about creatine making you go bald. I was like 17, 18, 19 years old, and I noticed that my hair was really thinning and really falling out, and I was like, I don't want to go bald young, didn't want to look all weird and not get any female attention, which I was scared I was not going to get. So I need to stop taking this thing. Healthline states that creatine is probably the single best supplement for muscle gain. Many studies have confirmed that it can increase muscle mass. Other than Tren, like it's the best natural supplement for muscle gain. It's one of the most popular supplements because studies show that it increases lean mass, increases strength, increases muscle gain through 5 grams a day of supplementation. It actually makes you look bigger when you take it as well because it pulls in water into the muscles, which make your muscles pretty much instantly bigger after you've reached saturation of creatine. It's a nootropic, increases cognition as well, which is really interesting, especially if you're vegan or vegetarian. But who even does that? It sounds amazing, right? Wrong is going to make you, I'm just being dramatic. It's pretty good. Creatine is something that everyone should be taking that goes to the gym. So this is a little look into the research. I studied biology at university, so I can kind of break down scientific papers. I'm going to combine my opinion and some of the research together in layman's terms and make it easy to understand, basically explain and why I think a lot of people are wrong online that are like, oh yeah, it's completely fine, just take it, for no reason whatsoever. Creatine assists in the rephosphorylation of ADP into ATP, which is kind of how our cells and mitochondria produce energy. Basically, it helps our cells get energy. That's what creatine does. Creatine equals more energy that we can use and we can make, and it's like a really good time. Simple. How do you go bald? To understand if it's going to make you bald or not, you need to understand a little bit about why we go bald as men. So if you suffer from male pattern baldness or you're going bald, they say when you've noticed your hair receding, you've already lost up to 50% of your hair density. So you're pretty screwed if you're at that stage already. Do something about it right now if you notice that. Loads of other videos on hair loss to help you with that, boys. But the thing that actually causes male pattern baldness is something called androgenic alopecia. Androgenic alopecia or male pattern baldness is caused by something called DHT, dihydrotestosterone. We all have DHT in us. Every man has DHT within them. It's like one of the things that makes a man. It's a type of testosterone. Testosterone is super, super important. But if you're noticing that your hair is thinning or you've got a history of male pattern baldness in your family, like maybe your dad or your granddad is losing hair or he's bald, you're probably going to be genetically predisposed to this yourself. Basically, if you're susceptible to DHT and you're increasing DHT, you're going to go bald quicker or get more baldness. And this is where creatine comes into play, right? So there's one study, and this is the one that everyone cites. There's one study in 2009 that looked at 20 rugby players. They split the rugby players up into 2 groups. One group got a placebo, so like a glucose or a sugar solution, so they didn't know whether they're taking creatine or not, so they can't kind of skew the results like mentally. The second group were given 25 grams of creatine a day for 7 days, followed by 5 grams for a further 14 days, and their bloods were taken at the start and at the end of the study. The study showed, right, that there was a statistically significant increase in serum dihydrotestosterone, DHT. DHT increased by 56% in the group that were taking the creatine after the 7-day loading phase, and then it remained 40% above the baseline amount after 14 days. Right, and you might be thinking, holy no, 50% increase in DHT. I'm never taking creatine. It's making me go bald. stuff that, I'm not taking it because DHT equals hair loss, DHT equals bad. So there's a few like for and against points, right? In Jeff Nippard's video, he mentioned that this only measures serum DHT. So serum DHT is DHT within the blood. He suggests that because they didn't measure scalp DHT, which is kind of the region where the DHT is the issue, you can't really conclude that an increase in serum DHT is going to equal an increase in scalp DHT. But as we know, if you reduce serum DHT, you're going to decrease scalp DHT. There's a lot of what ifs in this, but science doesn't cover everything. We haven't got a study for everything. When you start getting like super niche into things, there's a lot of assumptions and like joining together research and making stuff up effectively. So serum DHT will impact scalp DHT. Like how else does it get there? It gets there in your blood. So if you have super high serum DHT, blood DHT, that's going to increase DHT in the scalp. So by that alone, you could say that an increase in serum DHT is going to increase scalp DHT, which is going to increase the amount of male pattern baldness that we get. Another argument is that our hormones, our testosterone, our DHT, they vary naturally throughout the day anyway. If you're someone that exercises, you're going to increase your DHT. You're going to increase your total testosterone. If we increase our testosterone, more testosterone is going to be converted to DHT because we have more testosterone within us. So by exercising, by looking at a fit girl, by smashing, like doing things that are going to increase testosterone, getting good sleep, we are subsequently going to increase our DHT as well. So by the logic of not doing anything because it's going to increase our DHT, then we might as well stop doing everything, including weight training, including getting good sleep, including doing all these things to optimize our testosterone. Although there's a big increase, how significant is that increase? And a lot of people online like to argue that because it's still within the reference range, that you shouldn't worry about going bald from creatine. It's not the end of the world. It's nothing crazy. So it's probably not going to do anything to your hair, and just keep taking creatine. Absolutely no problem with it. This is where I disagree. There are thousands of people online in the comment sections, like you might be one of them, that start taking creatine, they notice like their hair shedding, they notice that their hair falling out. It's still relevant. It's still worth considering. It's like you can't just take the science and be like, oh, the science just says this, so let's ignore everything else. Does that mean you should stop taking creatine like I did? No. We get into this looks maxing creatine hair paradox, right? Where you want to train, you want to increase your testosterone, you want to look good, you want to take creatine, but if you're increasing the testosterone, you're also increasing the probability of going bald, which is going to decrease your perceived look. So it's like, what do we do? So this is what I would do if I was you. If you haven't got a perfect hairline and you're in this group of DHT sensitive men, it's not a matter of if you're going to go bald, it's a matter of when you're going to lose your hair or when you're going to go bald. But if you want to keep your hair, you need something to manage that DHT, and kind of like worrying about creatine is just not even worth worrying about. And I think this is where the choice comes in, right? It shouldn't be about not taking creatine. If you're someone that trains, you should take it. Everyone should take it. It should be about whether or not you want to take something that's going to stop you from losing your hair, like finasteride. What this does is it prevents the conversion of testosterone to DHT by blocking the enzyme that converts testosterone into DHT. So by taking this, you're effectively reducing your total amount of DHT in your blood, which is going to reduce the amount of DHT in your scalp. If you want to grab any hair loss solutions, this video is sponsored by Manual. I don't need to think, oh, he's sold out. A big pharma made a video on this. I've taken this shit for years. But if you do want to get anything science-backed, efficaciously dosed hair loss products, including topical solutions as well, which I started taking, got so scared about side effects. I haven't had a single side effect. I've used this for over 2 years. I'll show you my blood work in a minute because it's interesting. The code is this. I can't even remember what the code is. I'm such a bad influencer. I feel like I should mention this to every single one because there's always going to be people that are like, oh, finasteride, side effects, blah, blah, blah. I didn't take finasteride until I was like maybe 24 because I was so scared of the side effects from it. I do not know a single person that has got side effects from finasteride. Doesn't mean it doesn't happen, but if you're someone that's healthy, gets good sleep, is in a normal range of testosterone, there really shouldn't be anything to worry about. And a lot of it is going to be placebo as well. And this is my DHT levels after taking it topically for about a year. As you can see, I've got basically no DHT in my blood, which is a good thing from the point of view of hair loss because I've completely crushed it. But that's from pipetting like a topical solution onto my head, like into my scalp, and it's absorbed into the scalp and then absorbed into the blood. Interestingly, this is me after taking half a finasteride pill because I basically started on a topical solution first, then half a pill because I was kind of scared about taking a full pill. And this is my blood work after taking 0.5 milligrams finasteride every day or 1 milligram every other day for 6 months. Obviously, the units are different, but the normal range of finasteride for men is between 143 to 842 picogram a milliliter. Mine is 285. So I'm in like the bottom 1/5 of DHT levels for men. Whereas when I was taking it topically, I was like below the absolute minimum naturally for men, which is really, really interesting. Anyway, people, creatine, should you take it? Yes, absolutely. But if you are genetically predisposed or prone to male pattern baldness, DHT sensitive, make sure you have something like finasteride as well in your hair loss stack. And even if you don't take creatine and you're just someone that's genetically predisposed to male pattern baldness, you should be taking this anyway if you want to keep your hair. If not, take creatine, shave it all off, be big, jacked, and bold. If you want to keep your hair and be big and not bald and not shave it off, then take finasteride as well. If you aren't prone to male pattern baldness, take creatine, you'll be completely fine. It'll be all good. If you want to support me and get yourself some creatine, Huge Supplements sponsor me. If you use code MERCH, I get you 10% off and it directly supports me. So it would be cool if you want to get anything from Huge Supplements. Like I said, even though you can literally get creatine from anywhere because it's the same stuff and companies will be like, oh, this is special micronized creatine, bro. It's all exactly the same. There's no advantages from buying it from Huge, unflavored creatine, except the grape stuff that tastes absolutely amazing. But it directly supports me, so I would appreciate that. If you want to get any hair loss pills, any topical solutions, science-backed, proper medication, you can do all that online as well through Manual. I'll put the link down there below. If you guys like this video, let me know what else you want to see. I will be doing a 6 months update on the hair transplant as well to let you guys know what I think, any mistakes that I made, things I do differently. And yeah, peace out. I love you to bits. Thank you. Good night.